Hello friends, my name is Anurag Pandey. So this is my second video on Verilog. In this video, we are going to discuss about the Verilog. This is the introduction of Verilog, you can say. And I this is my second video. So in my first video, I have created a test bench for AND gate, and I have created a design for AND gate. So if you are interested to learn how the things are coded into the Verilog, or you can say how you can write your first program into the Verilog, then you can refer that video. So for AND gate, I have given different modeling styles. So I have designed those that code with different models, and then I have given one test bench example there. So you can watch that video. So keeping apart that part, so let's focus on this session. In this session, we are going to discuss about the Verilog. So what are the topics which we are going to cover is Uh, first part will be introduction of VHDL. So we are going to see what is the introduction and like how VHDL, what is VHDL basically. Basically VHDL is nothing, Verilog HDL hardware description language. So we are going to see that part. Then how you can, there are some modeling concepts, we'll see that part also. Later on we can see modules, everything in Verilog that we are going to code, we are going to write the code inside module and module. So we'll see that part also. Later on we are going to see the modeling styles, how you can model the one code with like one design with different models. Later on we'll focus on the instances, and then component of simulation, what are the simulation components basically we'll see. And here also I have taken example for AND gate. So we are going to see how we are going to design the AND gate, and then how we are going to write the test bench for AND gate. So let's move further. Okay, so this slide is going to tell you what is basically VHDL or Verilog hardware description language, and how like it came into the existence, and where we have designed or we have uh, created this language basically. So VHDL is nothing, it's a full form of short form of Verilog hardware description language. So Verilog is a hardware description language that helps to describe digital systems such as networks, switches, microprocessors, flip-flops, etc. So Verilog is a kind of language from where, like, with the help of Verilog you can design your digital circuits basically. You are having the multiple gates, you are having the adders, you are having subtractors, mux, demux. So if you want to code that part, you can use the Verilog, and you can write basically design with the help of this language. So therefore, it is a possible to describe the hardware of a digital design system using this language. As I said, with the help of Verilog, you can design any gates, any flip-flops, any mux or demux kind of things. Even you can design counters. Whatever digital circuits you have read in the digital part, you can design with the help of Verilog. So Verilog is a kind of design language, hardware description language, you can say. And with the help of this, we can verify also those designs basically. So how we are going to verify, we are going to see in the later part. And Verilog hardware description language originated in 1983 as the gateway design automation. So here I kept a very small introduction, and what is Verilog basically, and from where it has originated kind of thing. But if you want to learn more things, if you want to uh, get a good idea about the Verilog introduction and how things came into the existence, then I would like to suggest you just go and download Samir Palantikar PDF. That PDF is for Verilog, and it's a very good PDF. You can get information about the introduction part. I'll try to give you the more information about that, but if you want to get some extra knowledge, you can refer that PDF basically. That is very important videos for if you want to learn things in Verilog. So moving further, yeah, as we discussed, Verilog HDL is general purpose hardware description language that is easy to learn and easy to use. Yes, it is very easy to learn, and a, it's very simple to use also. It is similar in the syntax to the C programming language. Yes. So if you are having an understanding of C, so this will be going to very easy for you, and you will get the idea. But if you haven't learned the C, it's fine. There is no need to worry. You can start learning Verilog itself, and you will get a good understanding. There is nothing kind of tough or something. You can learn. Anyone can learn basically. So designers with C programming experience will find it easy to learn basically. As I said, if you are having any programming knowledge, then it will be little bit easy for you guys. But if you don't have any programming knowledge, so there is no need to worry that you cannot learn or something. It is very tough. It's not tough. Just you have to focus the things which I am going to tell you. Definitely, you will be able to write the codes. You will be able to write the test plans, and it will be very easy for you. So in Verilog, as I told you, there are a level of abstractions. A single design, if I'm taking example of AND that can be modeled with the help of different modeling concepts. There are level of abstractions by which you can model your uh, codes in different way. So all the models, like you can code your design in different level of abstractions, but that will perform the same functionality only. So if you are writing for AND gate, it is going to write the it's going to give the output according to the AND gate. Okay, so later move further. Most popular logic synthesis tool supports Verilog HDL. This makes it the choice language of choice. Okay, so yes, for the synthesis purpose, I'm not going to tell you what is the synthesis, but just I'm going to give you a very small, very brief idea. Synthesis is something we are going to write a code that you can convert into the gates form basically. So that thing is known as a synthesis. Later on, when I will make video on synthesis part, I am going to tell you exactly what it does and how it works. But for time being, I'm not going to explain you more about that part. Just you understand, synthesis is something which you can convert your code into actual hardware circuits basically. So that part is known as a synthesis. Okay, so later on moving further, we have a very important feature here in Verilog, you can say, that is PLI. PLI is nothing, it's called Programming Language Interface, where what you can do is you can communicate between different languages. Suppose that you are having a C language and you are having a Verilog language, and if you want to the communication between C and Verilog, then you can use PLIs basically. So it's a kind of programming language interface which will provide you the interface between the different languages. Different languages means into C and then Verilog you can say. You can take example of this. So here I would like to tell you one more thing. Why? What is the difference between C and Verilog? As you guys are, if you guys are freshers, so I would like to tell you only one difference, that C is the kind of program sequential in nature. Everything will be executed in a sequential nature, whereas Verilog is the hardware description language and it executes in a concurrent way. You can say in a parallel way. So I can make videos on the difference between what is the difference between C and what is the difference between Verilog, but this is available on everywhere. So I would like to suggest you guys go and find what is the difference between C and Verilog. In interviews, this is the very basic question anyone can ask. So you should have knowledge about the what is the difference between C and Verilog. Okay, so now let's move further. Hierarchical modeling concepts. Okay, so this is the second topic of our session, and here we are going to discuss what are the hierarchical modeling concepts. So there are two ways by which you can your code your design. First one is top to down, and second one is bottom to up. So uh, okay, so let's take an example. You can say if you are having any adder, full adder. Let's take an example of full adder. So we all know full adder I can implement with the help of two half adders, and one half adders we can implement with the help of gates according to their output. So I'll explain later. I'm going to, when I will give this example for basically this concept, like how you can write code for top to down and how you can write code for bottom to up. There you can understand very good, in a very good way. But for time being, just understand what is the top to down hierarchical modeling concept and what is bottom to up hierarchical things. So in that, I was giving you example of adder. So a adder can be made with the help of two half adder. Got it? And a single half adder can be created with the help of your gates, different gates. So suppose that if you are creating, in this example, you can design your code with two approaches. First, so first you create one full header with the help of your where you instantiate your two half header, and then again you place your gates inside, you instantiate your gates into the half headers. What I am trying to say is, you can just create first gates. With the help of gates, you can first you write a code for gates, design your basically, and with the help of those gates, you can create your half header, and then using the half header, two half header, you can create your full header. Are you getting my point? Okay, so let's understand again. There is a two approach: bottom to up and top to down. So top to down means if you are having a full header and you are approaching from full header, and then you are going down half header, creating half header, and then you are getting the gates basically. So this is called top to down approach. And if you are creating your basically first gates, you are creating or designing gates first, and then you are with the help of gates you are designing your half header, and then again you are using half headers for designing your full header. So this approach is known as a bottom up. I am going to give you an example based on this topic basically. So we'll see that later. I hope till now you understood what is the top to down approach or bottom to approach. This was a very simple example I gave you, and if you are having any doubt, you can comment it, and I'll try to resolve your doubt basically. So let's see the slide, what it does, what it says basically. Before we discuss the details of the Verilog language, we must first understand basic hierarchical modeling concept in digital design. Yes, this is a very good point. Okay, so before writing anything, we should understand what is that top to down and bottom to up hierarchy. So I have explained you. Let's move to the second point. The designer must use a good design methodology to do efficient Verilog HDL based design. Exactly. So this is a kind of you can say quality by which you can choose whether you have to write a code for top to down or you can write a design from bottom to up, and which one is will be efficient for you, which won't take the more time, or it's won't take the more it's a kind of time consuming, or you can say in a proper way how you can write the code. If you will write code with these two approaches, that will be the same, but which will be the efficient basically. So according to that, we should choose the methodology basically from which we you can write the code basically. So there are two methodologies: either you can write with top to down or you can write from bottom to up, but it depends like how you can write and which approach you want to use. It totally depends upon you. Now, as I told you, there are two types of methodologies, top to down and bottom to up. Let's move further. Okay, so this is the representation kind of thing. So in top to down, what will be there? You will be having one top level block, and then you will be having the sub blocks. You can see here, this is the top level block, and then we have sub block 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And then we have the different leaf cells basically. So you can relate this diagram with your full header. So suppose that this is your full header, and here your two half headers will be there, and this will be your gates basically. So if you are going to design from your top to bottom, top to down basically, so that will call top to down hierarchy. And in the next slide you can see, if you're going to design from bottom to up, so this methodology is known as a bottom to up concept basically. I hope till this point you will be having the understanding what is the top to down and bottom to up approach. So definitely I'm going to write a code for this, and I'm going to give you the video, create a video so you can understand in that how you can do the things basically. So let's move further. Yeah, here just as I have given example, full header. So full header can be created with the help of two half header, and then half header can be created with the help of gates. So this is the example. Basically I'm going to write a code for this, and I will make a video and you can see that part also. Let's move further. Okay, so now we have the second point, modules. Module is a very important part in Verilog, because everything whatever we are going to write it, we are going to write in module and module. So now let's understand what is module basically. Verilog provides the concept of a module. A module is the basic building block in a Verilog. As I told you, everything whatever we are going to write is we are going to write into the module and module. So let's understand the third point. A module can be an element or a collection of lower level designs blocks. So yes, definitely it's kind of it can be collection of elements, or it can be collection of the lower level designs blocks. So what is the meaning of the lower level design blocks? You can understand this bottom to a hierarchy or top to down hierarchy. So lower level is nothing, these sub blocks are lower level. So if you are going to write this top level, means you are going to write any top level, there you can paste these things, and you can, that all things can be done into the module. So this was the lower level design blocks basically. And typically elements are grouped into the modules to provide common functionality that is used at many places in the design. So what we do is, what we write into the modules is nothing. If you are having any gate, if you are having any design, if you are having any sequential circuit, so what is the behavior of that circuit? If suppose that I am taking an example of AND gate. So AND gate, what it does is, it just take two inputs. I'm talking about the two inputs AND gates only. So don't think about three input or four input or something else. So if suppose that you are having two input AND gate, so what it will do is, it will take two inputs and it will produce some output. So how that output is going, it will produce, that logic will be written inside the module basically. How we are going to write it, we are going to discuss it later. Don't worry about that. Okay, so next part, if we see, a module provides the necessary functionality to the higher level block through its port interface. Okay, basically port interface is nothing, input outputs, but hides the internal implementation. Okay, so you can take in, you can like understand in this way. You are having a black box, and in black box you are having just two input and one outputs. Those inputs and output signals are known basically ports. So ports or signals, anything you can say. So it is saying that module will provide you the functionality of the higher level block. What will be the inside that won't be visible, but with the help of those ports, means with the help of input and output ports, you can use that functionality basically. And if I'm talking about the AND gate, so AND gate is will be like with the help of two input AND gate and one output, you can like use those things basically. And if you want like if you want to use that circuit somewhere else also, that you can use. And where you can use, basically I'm going to tell you that we are going to basically use that AND gate into the test bench, and how we are going to connect with the ports, and how the functionality will perform. We're going to discuss it, don't worry about that. Okay, so before moving further, let's understand how you define module. So module is nothing. This is the keyword module. So anywhere, if you are going to write any code, if you will write in Verilog or system Verilog, you are going to write that thing inside the module and end module. So module is this keyword, and this is the end module keyword. I would like to suggest you just pay more attention in this video. Okay, I am going to give you some good understanding of this. So let's understand how we declare this module. So any code we are going to write into the Verilog. that will be declared inside the module and end module part. And later on, after module, we are going to give a name of that module. What is the name of that module? So this is a way. If you are going to write any code, if supposedly you are going to write for AND gate, so first you will have to declare module, and then you will have to give the name of that module basically. And later on, inside the parenthesis, you will have to give the module terminal list. So module terminal list is nothing. You can place here terminals basically. So terminals are nothing, input and output terminals basically. You can say ports also, you can say signals also. So whatever design you are having, and in that design, whatever signals are there, whatever ports are there, or you can say whatever terminals are there, input terminals, output terminals, you are going to write that part inside this parenthesis. And later on we will have to use semicolon. Yes, this semicolon will tell you that termination of the line. This line has been terminated. So moving further, module internals. Okay, so module internals is nothing that is just logic. If I am talking about the AND gate, so AND gate performs some logic. It performs some output based on some logic. So that logic will be written here inside the module internals. Don't worry about that. We'll see how we are going to write that part also. But for time being, just understand how you will write this module and AND module. So in the next line, that will be the AND module. So AND module will tell you that we are going to close this block basically. I hope you will be having the good understanding how you can declare module and how you can declare module name and then this part basically. So let's revise it, what it does actually. So any module we are going to write is, we are going to start with module keyword. This is a keyword. Then we will give the names, and then we inside the parentheses we are going to give the terminal list. What are the terminal lists basically? So terminal list is nothing that input output ports basically. Those things are known as a terminal list. So you can write those things here. And then module internals, we are going to discuss module internals later, but for timing you can understand that you are going to place some logic here. And in the last we are going to close this module, and that keyword is also like it is a keyword and module, so you can place and module here. Let's move further. Okay, so let's take an example. It's a very basic example of AND gate. As we all know that this is the truth table of AND gate, where if both inputs will be 1, then we are going to get input 1. Otherwise, in any case, output will be 0. And this is a diagram of AND gate. Okay, let's relate whatever we read in the previous slide. We are going to implement here. So for writing any module, I told you that we are going to start with module keyword. So this is the module keyword, and then we will give the name of that module keyword basically. So name, what is the name? AND gate. We are giving just here AND gate. Why we have given AND gate is because we are going to write a code for AND gate. So because of that, we have written here AND gate. And later on in the parentheses, we are going to list the terminals. So what are the terminals here? So you can see here we are having two terminals, input terminals, and one is output. So we can place here A semicolon B colon Y. So these are the terminals basically. So how we are going to place the terminals? This is the way. By using this diagram, you can see whatever terminals are there, you can place here. Now you will have to tell whether what are the signals which are input and what are the signals which are output. So here you can see A and B are input, so because of that I have declared input, and Y will be the output, so because of that I have declared here Y as an output. Now inside the module internals, I told you that we'll see the later. So what it does is nothing. There we are going to write logic for AND gate. Exactly what AND gate does. So AND gate does is like it will AND A and B, and then it will give the output Y. This line I hope you will be understanding. We are doing ANDing here, and then we are assigning to Y. Assign is a keyword here which will continuously assign. If there will be any changes in A and B, then it will continuously assign to Y. So if but we are going to discuss about the assign also, that where we use basically assign keyword. So for time being, just understand that if we want to write any code for AND gate or OR gate or something, NOT gate or something, just you can use a sign keyword there, and then whatever output is there, you will have to take that signal, and in that output you will have to assign the your logic, what for which gate you are going to write the logic. I hope you understood this part. So later on we are going to do the AND module. We are going to close this module basically. So you can relate here module, and inside AND module we are going to write your all code. So inside module and inside AND module we have written all the codes, and these parts are internals, and these things are for related to your ports basically, input ports and output ports, and sorry, yeah. So these things are the terminals basically. So I hope this will be very much clear to you, and this is design of your AND gate. Now let's move further. If you will be having any doubt, you can drop me a comment for that. Let's move further. Okay, so modules. Here we are going to discuss level of abstractions, and we have seen previously that I have written a code for AND gate. Now in Verilog there are level of abstractions, and there are 4 level of abstractions basically, which tells that your AND gate can be written in 4 different ways. So first is behavioral model, second one is data flow model, third one is gate level model, and fourth one is switch level model. So switch level model is like very low, and in verification we don't use basically switch level model. So I'm not going to give you the idea about the switch level model, but yes, we do the codings with these 3 models. So we are going to discuss with these 3 models in the upcoming slides. Let's move further and see what are the things basically. Okay, so let's take a first thing is behavioral model. So let's understand what is behavioral model actually. So in Verilog, this is the highest level of abstraction provided by Verilog. So anything, if you know the design what exactly it does, so you can write the design into the algorithm way. Suppose that you know AND gate is just do the ending, and if behavior, what is behavior? If AND gate will be A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 1, then it will produce some output. So you know that this is a condition where it will give the value 1. So according to that behavior, you can write code into the behavioral model. How we are going to write the codes, we'll see into the upcoming slides. So this level, you can say this is very much similar to C programming. This will be like tell you what exactly it does. You don't have to understand the what is the design and how data flows between the circuits. Just you know something that I have to write a code for something. You can take some example like you just counter. Take an example of counter. You know you have to write a code for 250 count. You have to write a counter which will count from 0 to 250. So you have a behavior like, yes, I need to write a code which will count up to 250. So just you have to implement your logic and you have to write the code according to that. So this comes into the behavior. You don't have to worry about the circuits and all, like what will be the design, what will be the how the data is flowing. There is no need to understand about that. So this is the kind of highest level of abstraction. We are going to see that how we can write codes in behavioral model. So let's move further. Secondly is a data flow model. So data flow model, in this you will be having an idea how data flows between the hardware registers and how you can process the design basically. So how we can write the things for data flow model, this is also we are going to see further slides, but for time just understand, you will be having the complete idea how will data flow from one place to the till output, from input to output. You will be having the understanding of this part basically. And next one is the gate level model. So gate level model is nothing, this is the lowest level of abstraction you can say. So in this, like, you will be having the different gates, you will be having the design, so you will convert those design into the gates, and then you can write the codes in gate level basically. So how we will write the your designs basically in the gate level model, we are going to see in the further slides. Let's move further. Okay, so this is the gate level modeling. So first we are going to start from the gate level modeling, because this is the lowest level of modeling, and as we are not going to discuss about the switch, because switch we are not using here, that is a very low level, so we are not going to discuss about that part here. Even in industry also, we are right now we are starting from the gate level, we are not going to discuss much from switch level. So just take an example of this AND gate. We know this is the diagram for AND gate, and when the both inputs will be 1, then we are going to get the output basically. So let's take how we declared modules basically. So first we declare write module keyword, and then we give the name of the modules. Here I have given you one more example. So previously you have seen that here just I am writing input outputs terminals basically, and then we are explicitly declaring what is the input and what is the output. So there is another way you can declare things basically. You can directly here declare your output, which I am declaring y, and you can declare input a comma b. So these are the things which are a and b, which are input, and y will be the output, and it will produce y is equal to a dot b. Okay, so in gate level, everything will be written in the form of primitives. So primitive is, there are some things like for AND we have AND keyword, then for OR we have OR, NOT, NAND, NOR, XOR, XNOR. These things are for OR, NOT, or for other gates basically. Right now we are writing just for AND gates. So here what we can do is just we can write AND keyword, and first we are going to write always output. So output, output will be Y and A comma B, and then semicolon. Semicolon will say this line has been terminated, and then in the last we are going to close with AND module. So in gate level modeling there is nothing to do. This is the code for AND gate. You will have to just declare the input output, what are the input output signals here, and then you will have to use this AND keyword. Basically this is known as a primitive. So primitive you are going to use and what will be the output and what are the inputs. Just you have to tell these things. Sorry. Yeah. So by doing this, you have written the code for AND gate. So similarly, if you will replace AND with OR, so you can write code for OR. For NOT, you can write code for NOT, and same goes with these things also. So this is the gate level modeling, where we are going to write your designs into the gate forms basically. I hope you understood this till this point. Let's move further. Data flow modeling. What is data flow modeling? So in this basically we know actually how data flows basically. So let's understand how you are writing. So in data flow, first again we are going, everything we are going to write into module and AND module. So we have written here module, and then I have given a name for that, and data flow. You can give any name whatever you want. For data flow, just I have given AND data flow, and then again I have declared output Y and then input AB. Now in data flow we always use assign keyword. So this why we do, when we see the data flow modeling in a deep, then I'll tell you. And for timing, just understand you will have to use assign keyword in data flow model, and again you will have to give the this part y is equal to a and b. So a, you are doing a and b, and you are assigning to y. So this will, and later on you are just doing the AND module. So this will perform as a data flow model. So in data flow model there is nothing changed. You will have to use just assign keyword, and again you will have to perform the same thing. Now for OR we use here for pipe, for NOT we use for negation. So if suppose that you want to write any code for OR gate, though instead of AND you will have to use this pipe symbol, and then if suppose that you are using negation, so negation will be what? NOT gate will work on only single input. So in front of this your operand, you will have to use negation symbol. So you can write code for NOT gates basically. Now let's understand how you can write code for NAND gate. So with the help of data flow, obviously we are going to see here OR gate and NOT gate, you can write the code that is very easy, because just you will have to use the simple pipe symbol and negation symbol there. Then you can write the code. But what it does for NAND, NOR, XNOR kind of thing. So suppose that I'm talking about the NAND gate. So NAND gate is a combination of your AND gate and NOT gate. So here I have written AND gate and NOT gate. So input of AND gate is A and B. Here data, it is connected with a NOT gate, and output is V. Here what I am doing is just, here I have taken a wire signal W. I will tell you what is wire signal does later on, but for time being just understand Wire is it represents the physical connection between the hardware elements. So suppose that you have one hardware element here and one hardware element here. So this part is represented as a wire. So wire, I have declared wire. We'll see what it does and how it performs. For timing, you have to understand what is wire. Wire is a physical used for the physical connection between the hardware elements. So that's it. Don't worry about that. So for the physical connection, we have written this wire. Now let's understand again. Start module. We are going to start with module. Then we'll give the module name, and then again we are going to give the output. So A and B will be the input, and output is Y. This part we are not going to write here because this is something in between the hardware designs. This is not a port. This is just a connection between the internally. So whatever ports will be there, that we are going to give into the terminal list basically here in the sensitivity list, or you can say into the parenthesis block. So wire is not an input terminal or output terminal. It's a we are going to use internally. So we are not going to declare here. Just wire is a data type. So we are going to discuss declare it here wire W. For NOR gate, for XNOR gate, obviously you will have to write code in the same way. Because of that, I am going to give this example by which you don't confuse between the like how you can write for the code for these things. So because of that, I'm giving this example. So let's understand. Now I have declared here wire Y. So this we are going to we will declare here. And now for this circuit and circuit, wire will be the output. Are you getting my point? Yes. So in the same way, when you will see A, B will be the input for AND gate, and here wire, you can see this will act as the output for AND gate and input for NOT gate. So here we are going to use AND gate, and in AND gate we are going to place W because W is the output for AND gate, and then we are going to give the A and B signals basically. So this is the input signal basically. Now again, till here we have written our code. Now for us for getting the output, we'll have to write code for this part also. So now we are going to use NOT gate because this is a NOT gate, and W will be the input for this, and Y is the output. So Y we are going to give output, and W we are going to give as an input, and then we'll do the AND module. That's it. So this will be the code for your NAND gate. When you will perform the this test bench and all, you will get the answer for NAND gate here. I hope you understood my point. What I'm trying to say is, so here what we can do is just we can declare one wire for these things, like for NAND, for NOR, then for XNOR you can write in this way. So I hope you understood this part. Generally you will have to declare one wire between these part, and this wire is nothing. It will represent as a physical connection between these two hardware device components basically, and then simply you will have to perform for AND gate and then for your NOT gate, and then you will have to do just model. This will be the coding for NAND gate. I hope you understood. Now let's move on the further slides. If you are having any confusion, you can drop in comments. I'll revert you, and I'm going to write a mail ID also. So if you are having any issue, you can drop me a mail also. Let's move further. Behavioral model. So this is the highest level of abstraction. As I was telling you, uh, okay, yes. So as I was telling you is how we can write the behavioral modeling for AND gate. So we understand uh, we will have to understood only one thing in AND gate. If both inputs will be 1, then we are going to get the output, and if any one input will be 0, so that will become obviously 0. So let's understand how we can write the code for this. So first is the module. So this is the same keyword module we are going to write here, and then we are going to give the module name, and we are going to give one more thing here, terminal list. As I told you that you can declare output as well as input here. So here you can see that res is a new keyword here. I'm using. So let's understand what is the difference between the wire and res, because most mostly we are going to see these things. So wire is something which is used for the connection purpose. So if you are having two components and if you want to connect those things, so that connection can be represented with the help of wire. So it will represent as a physical connection between the components. It won't hold any data. Yes, it won't hold any data. It will just drive the data. Anything which is coming from previous component, it will drive that data to the next component. I hope you understood this part. Now let's see reg, what it does. Reg will hold the value until any another value placed onto the variable. So anything if I am declaring or any signal if you are declaring with uh, reg, so I am telling that it should hold some value. Are you getting my point? Yeah, it should hold some value. So anything if I am declaring with reg keyword, it will hold some value. Let's see further, and when the data types will come into the picture, we'll see there. So for holding purpose, we have declared here while. Now there is a two blocks, always and initial blocks. So again we will see later. For timing, just understand always. Here we are going to use always at the rate. It will at the rate signal will tell the change of any these signals. So it is saying always at the rate A or B. Means this A or B. Whenever this A or B comes here, then it will reflect always. Okay, we'll see later what exactly always does. And if you want to get some idea about the what always does, I have explained in my previous video. I would like to suggest you just go and watch. Here also I have explained the behavioral model also, so you will get the little bit more idea what behavioral level modeling does actually. So let's understand now. So it will just whatever inputs are there, I am keeping into the sensitivity list. Basically this parenthesis is known as a sensitivity list. I will have to use there, and always is a keyword. So for writing behavioral you will have to use this always, and at the rate symbol is also, it will detect the changes basically. So if there will be any changes, then this block will get executed. Yeah. So come begin. Okay. So begin and end block is there. So begin and end block, what it does is, if you want to um, write the multiple statements basically. So for the grouping purpose, you use begin end. For timing, just to understand that if you are having more than one statement, so we can write there begin and end. So just I have started one begin block. Here we are checking if A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 1. If both will be 1, then begin Y output will always be 1, and else output becomes 0. I hope you understood this part. Just try to understand again. Here I will have to write the condition. What condition? When it gives the value 1 and when it gives the value 0. So there is only one condition. If the both inputs will be 1, means if both inputs will be 1, then output will be always Y, otherwise else it will be 0. So we'll do AND here. I have forgotten to mention one more thing here, AND module basically. So just add one AND module here in the last line. After 11 line you can add one AND module, and this is the behavioral modeling, and this is how you can write the codes for behavioral modeling. So I think this session is going too long. So I would like to keep it simple here, and later part we are going to see into the different, basically different video, like what is instance and what is the component of simulation and get design and all, how you can write. For time being, if you want to understand how you can write a code for AND-GET and how you can test that part, you can watch my previous video. And but I would like to keep it simple here, and later on we can discuss for upcoming topics basically. And if you guys are fresher, I would like to suggest you use Samir Palnitkar PDF. Go and read Samir Palnitkar PDF. It is very useful, and it will guide you a lot actually. So you will be having the all idea from there. You can get everything from there. So thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you so much. Let's meet in the next session. Okay, bye.